Again. Good morning. As I said before, English is my third language, and I can speak English, but not as best like you guys. So do bear with me. I did come about 25 hours plane ride to come here, and if it's little longer, don't scold me. So you can catch me. I live in India, which is about 14, 15,000 miles from here. And I was thinking yesterday with Brother David yesterday, and Texas is a big state. It is a big state. Like India is like small country, and you're like everything is big in Texas. I'm like, interesting how big it is in Texas. So I'm from here, Kakinada. It's right on the ocean up there, and I'm from a small town of about 600,000 people. And when I came to America in 1997 to Freed Hardeman, first time I came to America, I never came to America first time, and I went to a small dorm called Paul Gray. It was a small dorm. And first, my cultural reaction was, there are no people in America. There are no people in America. Because when we come out of our house in India, you could see horns, pam pam, and cycling, cows are there, and you could see chicken everywhere. But here, there is nothing here. So later I realized how different America is. And today I'm going to talk about few things about Satan. Everybody talks about God all the time. Let me talk to you about Satan today, and how Satan, it's a spirit, and how Satan influences you and me. Satan in Genesis 3:1-4 talks about. We look about here a serpent, a snake. As I said, I'm from a country called India. We are the one which has cobras. Have you seen a cobra? You have rattlesnakes all the time here. You eat your rattlesnakes. We don't eat our cobras. They are afraid of us, so they run off. So they are very smart animals, but they're afraid of humans. And we have this huge king cobra which eats little cobras everywhere. I don't like snakes. And one snake I like is a dead snake. I don't know if you hear. But I'm afraid of snakes. I go to a lot of jungles in the tribal areas, up in the mountains. Yes, we do have monkeys. Yes, we don't kill our tigers. But we have a lot of wild animals. The snake, probably this time in Genesis, had legs. I don't know, but probably it had legs up there in Genesis 3. And it was crawling, and Satan, the serpent it's called in Genesis 3:1-4, it's very witty. It's very clever. And you probably know, you probably have researched, probably it sat next to you, probably you held his hand. I'm going to talk to you about Satan, how it influences you and me. Satan cannot do anything if you say no. Think about my statement. Satan cannot do anything if you say no. I was looking at the young people here this morning, and how they are very energetic here. We have a children home in Kakinada. That's where I'm from, Southeast India. And I teach my children home kids. I tell them it's all right to say no. It's all right to say no when somebody gives you a cigarette in your hand. It's all right to say no when somebody says, "Hey, come, let's not go to school, and let's go to a movie." It's all right to say no, and say, "Hey, come, this white thing called drug, and you just smell it." It's all right to say no. It's all right to say no to Satan. Satan just can tempt you, that's all. This is my father here. His name is Joshua Gootam. I am the As I said, I am the next generation of the preachers, the missionaries. My dad was baptized by a Canadian missionary in 1964, and he was 18 years old. He wanted to be a pilot, and then he wrote to be a pilot, but he found a guy named J.C. Bailey. He wrote to him, and J.C. Bailey told him to come to a city called Chennai, Madras then, and then he went and talked with them. Today I'm talking about the lies of Satan. Now, if Satan influences us in many, many ways. Like in Numbers 13, there were a lot of people. My dad's name is Joshua, so I'm going to tell you a story of Joshua. Joshua was born in Egypt in the Bible. Joshua walked with Moses all the time. Satan influences, serpent influences the strong people all the time. If you are strong, if you are healthy physically, if you are healthy mentally, Satan tries to influence you. Eve was very strong woman. She was very strong woman, and serpent knows how to talk to Eve. She gave her something which is so beautiful to her eyes. Joshua in the Bible was with Moses all the time. He was in the Mount Sinai. He was down there. He was blowing his horn all the time to Israel people. Hey, be ready, the war. Be ready to move. That's what he was telling. Moses was leading, but it was actually the commander of the army for 600,000+ people was Joshua. And he was in Numbers 13 when they go to a place called Kadesh Barnea. That's what it talks about in Numbers 13. And everybody was there, like some thousands of people were there. But Moses chose only 12 people to go and spy. These people go and spy in Numbers 13, and they stay there. 12 people go and spy for 40 days, Bible says. For 40 days, they were doing what they were supposed to do. When we are doing what we are supposed to do, Satan is there to tempt you into lies. And he says, hey, and then there were a lot of people in Joshua 13. Some thousands of people were there. And there were 12 spies there. When they were talking, Bible talks about that 12 spies. And it was Joshua and Caleb which stood on their ground and reminded people, hey, don't you worry. Satan was with the 10 other people. There were only 2 people up there who said, hey, we are going to go with God. Satan always tempts you and me to do something different. As I said, my dad, he was there in many, many villages. Because of him, I'm just going to tell you one small story. Many, many years ago, there was a guy named Ira Rice who came to India. He was from Tennessee. And then he came with another brother called J.C. Bailey. So my dad and them, they went to a village called Sanduru. It's a tribal village out in the jungle area. And then they baptized 2 people up there. This was many, many, many years ago, 1970s, 1980s. Then after a few years, in 1990, they wanted to build a church building from 2 people. And there were lots of people. This was recently in January. They came and asked my father and me and my brother to come and speak up there on their anniversary. They had a 50-year anniversary. And there were about 1,000 people. I was there speaking. There were 1,000. 2 people turned to 1,000 people. Satan always says, you cannot do it. But God always says, you can do it. And when, 2 people can change the whole village. Now, people ask me, what is there in Jesus? What is there in Jesus? People ask me I'm from a Hindu country. All people around me, 80% people are they worship idols. And they literally go to temples and give bananas, they give watermelons, they give sugar cane, they give things to their God. But my God gave his life for me. I always remind people, our God came down from heaven to us, whereas people in India go down from here to the top of the temples, top of the mountains to worship their God. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be called sons and daughters of the Most High God. Let me teach you one thing. Say amen with me. It is an honor, guys. It is a privilege, guys, to know that you are a Christian. That God, when you kneel down and pray, listens to you. That God is there for you. Jesus has been in the beginning. Jesus has the one who created you. Jesus is the one who kept you where you are today. It is God. It's unto him we should give all glory and honor. He is called Alpha. He is called Omega. He is the first. He is the last. It is him we need to put our head down and say, hey, you are our God. But Satan is always there saying, hey, is he your God? He always asks us. That's what Eve was saying. That's what's next to us, Eve was saying. As Joshua in the Bible stood for Christ, so we need to stand for Christ. As I said, every day about 300 people ask us, tell us about Jesus. Tell us about Jesus. A lot of times, we just finished Christmas season here in America a month ago. December was a beautiful season. We always talk about the lights and the snow and how beautiful. Do you drink eggnog here? You know what eggnog is? I miss eggnog because I am always there in India. It's neat how you have all the neat things here in America. You have all the beautiful things, but we forget Jesus. He is the main cause of the whole life. To him everything is created. For him everything is created. By him everything is created. To him we need to be in him. So these are different villages up there. Satan says always, the serpent says, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But God says, hey, come to me. And these are, God gave us a weapon. We the Christians don't realize it. We the Christian need to realize God gave us the weapon which nobody has. That is prayer. Think about it, what I'm saying. God gave you and me a weapon. I teach my children home kids, kneel down and pray. That's what I say. If your knees are better, kneel down and pray. When you kneel to God, you can stand in front of big 9-foot Goliaths. In the Bible, there was a guy named Goliath. He was 9 feet. And there was a small guy called David. He was very small. He was probably 15, 16 years old. He stood in front of 9 feet tall Goliath. Hey, who is he who's shouting against my God? So these are kids in our children's home. I tell them, learn one memory verse every day. That's all. You learn one memory verse. In a week, you can learn 7 memory verse. In a month, you can learn 30 memory verse. In a year, you can learn 365 memory verse. It's simple. You learn it from Psalms, started from Psalms. And, a lot of our children's home kids has gone. Some has become engineers. Some answer your telephone call. When you call 1-800 number, where it goes to? It goes to India. Our technology guys are there in India. You talk to them. I tell my kids, go strong in the Lord. You don't know where you are today. You don't know where you are going to be there tomorrow. But God gave you a weapon called a prayer. When you pray to God, He's going to take care. Cast your burdens unto him. He will take everything straight right for you. People ask me, hey, are you not afraid of things? I say, yes, I was in a place called Manipur in India, northeast India. It's right on the border of China. I was there in September and October. There were about 60,000 people, Christians, displaced. This is not everywhere in the news. They are displaced because they are Christians in India. There are problems everywhere in the world, but you cannot just sit down and cry. You stand up and say, God, you are there for me. And God gave us a beautiful avenue of prayer up here. Let me tell you about this old lady. As I said, I work with leper colony. I work with leper colony people. These are beautiful people. They cannot read. They cannot write. They cannot see well. They don't have fingers. Some of them don't have fingers. Some don't have toes because of their deformity. They were gone. Yes, they take medication. It's not contagious. But Satan always says, don't go to those kind of people. Don't go. Satan always tells you, don't go and sit with them. But these are the most beautiful people you would ever know. She was her name is Santoshama, and she was begging. She was begging at the railway station. She's a Christian, baptized believer, member of the Church of Christ, and she was begging at a railway station. A lot of people have come. There was one guy who came to her, and this is on YouTube too. This is on YouTube. He was talking to her, and he said, well, I know you are a Christian. She says, yes, I am a Christian. She says, leave your faith. I'm going to come. I know you are a beggar. I know you are a widow. I know you are poor. Come, I'll give you a house. I'll give you a lot of money. She says, no, I'm not going to leave my faith. I'm not going to leave my church. I'm not going to leave my family. I'm not going to leave my Jesus. And she said, okay. And he said, well, he pursued her for a long time. He says, no. And she says, no. And later, he was leaving her. And he came down. He came back and said, I know you're a beggar. I know you're an old lady. I know she doesn't even have teeth. You could see. I know I'm going to give you money anyways. I'm going to give you money anyways. You're poor. And he asked her, what are you going to do with this money I'm going to give you? And he gave it to her. And he said, well, this Sunday, I'm going to go to church and give everything to God, what you gave, and I'm going to pray for you. Satan always comes and plays with your faith. Satan plays with your faith. What are you going to do? You stand firm like a beggar, like here. You stand firm like she still lives in our leper colony. I just saw her a few weeks ago. I go and see them. She cannot read. She doesn't have teeth, but she smiles. She knows she's a Christian. She knows she's going to heaven. She knows she has Jesus. You know what she said when that man was going? She said one thing: believe in Jesus. Believe in Jesus. Because in India, we are from a country with a million of gods, millions of gods, and they say all these things, and then they put Jesus somewhere. Jesus, if you know him, before Jesus there was no peace in this world. Before Jesus there was no kindness in this world. Before Jesus there was no self-control in this world. Before Jesus, this world never know the word love. If you ever think about that, before Jesus, the world was different. It was Jesus which came and defined us what love is. It was Jesus who defined us what peace is. Satan always lies to us, says, no, there is no peace in your life, but it is Jesus which gives you peace, calmness, and self-control up there. And here you could see his name is Kaushik. Satan serpent always attacks you when you're strong, mentally, physically. If you Satan always attacks your health. Here, I just baptized him this Sunday. Last Sunday, I just baptized him in Kakinada. He's 14-year-old. He has cancer in his ear too, and his leg too, and his leg was amputated, and he's 14 years. His sister is 16 years old. Last Sunday, their family said, our children wanted to be baptized into Christ. I said, well, I am going to baptize. I baptized leper people. I baptized everybody. I mean, everybody is equal. If they want to know Christ, I am there. Even in jail, I am there to tell about just simple thing. My thing is everybody to know Jesus and his church. That is very important. If you could see, Kaushik wanted to be baptized. So I have to take him. I have to take him without his leg, put him in the baptistry, and we had help with one of his uncle was there. My point is, when your health is bad, Satan attacks you, says, don't stay with God. Curse God, it says, and die, said one of the statement in Job to his wife. Stay faithful. Don't listen to the lies of Satan, serpent. Here, you could see this picture here. This is Srinivas here in his back here. He is our warden. He is our teacher for our children home, like the family he's sitting there. He takes care about. We had 80 kids one time at our children home. Now we have about 40 kids at our children home. He's been there from past 15 years working with our children home kids. He has seen them grow. He has seen them. He is a teacher. He studied to be a teacher, and I don't get to pay him much, but he stayed. He has seen kids growing up in front of him and going to very good positions. He comes to me a lot of times and says, sir, I have seen a lot of kids all these years growing, going to different good jobs there. But I'm happy. Satan always puts mindset. Why are you always here working? Why are you always a servant? Satan puts things. When everybody is developing, why are you here? When everybody is getting financially better, why are you here? When everybody is moving, why are you here? That is Srinivas. These are some of our children home kids. You could see this is Daiva Kumar, and that is one. These two kids has been with us for many years, and they have gone from us. You know the story. You know the song. I have decided to follow Jesus. You know that song? How does it start? I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. And then, what was that? Next word. No turning back, no turning back. You know that song, right? It's an old song. Everybody knows that song. Many years ago. This is actually, it's in the songbook. If you read who wrote it, it's actually from India. It's from India. I'm going to tell you that story. Satan always says, you can always turn back from God, Satan says. But God says, no, there is no turning back. Many years ago, this is actually 1940s, 1950s. Many years ago, in northeast India, there was a lot of people talking to one person. And he became a Christian. And he said, I am going to be a Christian. And the whole village, he says, no, you should not be a Christian. And they call him. They call and say, you turn back. And the chiefs and the village people says, you turn back. And he says, no, I have decided to follow Jesus. No, I am not going to turn back. He said, well, if you are not going to turn back, we're going to take care of, we're going to kill your wife and your child. He said, I have decided to follow Jesus, no turning back. Though none go beside me, though none go before me, I have decided to follow Jesus. Though my family doesn't go with me, I have decided to follow Jesus. He said, well, I'm going to kill all your friends, though the world doesn't go with me, for me, I have decided to follow Jesus. That was actually a true statement. I have decided. Then he said, well, I'm going to kill you. That's what they said. And they said, well, I'm going to kill you. We are going to kill you. Said, I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided. Though none go with me, I have decided to follow Jesus. You know, Satan always says, don't decide, don't decide, don't decide. God says, decide, 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 decide. And and the serpent always comes. Serpents always comes and attacks the young people and young at heart people. His name is Dr. Vijay Mohan. His name is Dr. Bharat. These are the one which come and help us in medical camps. These are surgeons. They're surgeons. Like, how you have a lot of our Indian doctors are here in America. They're very smart. They're very wise. If you are not smart, if you are not hardworking, you could not be a Texan, right? Yes. You could not be a Texan. So we send all our hardworking people here so that you all could change them to be Texans. And here, my friends, these are Christians. Satan always tries to get your young people. What are your young people doing? What is your son and daughters doing? Are they being faithful? What is your grandchildren doing? It's up to you who are sitting here to take care. You would have only one shot. Don't waste your time. Check on your children and their children's spirituality. It's up to you, not to me, not to the preacher here, not to anybody else. We need young people who says, I have decided to follow Jesus. I am going to stand for Jesus. When serpent says, hey, eat this food, it's going to be all right. No, I'm not going to do that. These are the pictures I tell. If you could see, these are our lads to leaders conventions. We do 5 conventions in 3 different languages in India. We need next generation of Adlins up here. We need next generation of young people. Now, I was just thinking, you cannot be like Samuel. If you cannot be like Samuel in the beginning, in the Bible, in 1 Samuel talks about, you can be always like his mom. Hannah in the Bible, she is the one who gave Samuel to God. Peter was the one guy who preached very, very strong sermons. When Peter preached, there were 3,000 people who got baptized. But he was just a speaker. God sent Paul up there. God sent Paul, who wrote 14 books, who was there next to Paul, next to Peter, who was encouraging, who was establishing the churches up there. You cannot do everything, but you say, I can do everything through Christ. You can do things. It's always up to you. Satan always tries to lie to you. Serpent always gives a lot of beautiful things. In India, if you know a lot of things about, we wear saris, are the one which tie around. We wear a lot of earrings. We wear a lot of blings, you call it, like they are made with gold. Like literally they were made with gold. And I have I'm on Facebook, look me up. When I go to a lot of villages, the women wear a lot of ear and nose ring. They're like huge, like this huge. Then they are made with gold. They're made with gold. A lot of villages, don't have, these people, the women I'm talking about, they don't have money to eat food, but they take loan from somebody else to buy a earring. They take loan to buy a nose ring or a neck ring. Always, Satan, like here, the first picture shows you a beautiful picture. Say, hey, wear this, you'll be all right. Take this, you'll be fine. Satan always likes to have a good thing for your eyes, for your ears, for your nose. Be careful. Satan is a big liar. This is a picture in December. Last month, people asked me to come and speak. I never say your God is bad. I never say you are going to hell. I always say, look at Jesus. He is far better than anything. He is better than your idols. He is better than Muhammad. He is better than everything you know. And I'm going to ask you, everybody here, what are you doing for your faith? What are you doing for your faith? Are you telling about Jesus? Are you telling about Jesus? You don't have to do big things. Just invite somebody for a potluck, what you're doing. Just invite somebody, give them a pamphlet, what you're doing. Tell them about the benevolence you're doing. A lot of places in India, they come to Hindus, mainly Hindus. They come to us Christians and ask this statement, please pray for us, is the statement I hear all the time. I said, we always hear the statement everywhere. Like the brother here came up and said, hey, this is what we need to pray for. But in India, that statement is very powerful. That is the starting point for us to tell about our God, tell about our Jesus. Because they, until then, they worship their own gods like idols. Until then, they go and have their own tradition. Now they come to you to ask prayer for one and only God. That's the starting point for us to talk about Jesus. What are you doing for your faith? Just tell little things. What I encourage our church in Kakinada to do during December, January is we print lot of calendars. We print on those calendars, we have our church address. On those calendars, we have the church activities, everything. We tell them, I usually give 3 calendars or things to a person. I tell them, hey, keep one this for your home and give it to somebody else and tell them to come to church. That's one thing. Just come to church. This is what we do. Tell others about Jesus. That's what we can do. Satan, see if you could see this, her name is Lakshmi. And she had a lot of heart problems. She's now becoming a nurse. She had a lot of problems, and her house was broken, and she had it was very bad. And what she decided, it's in my mind. It is always in your mind. If you say, I am with God, you will be with God. And Satan never could force you to do things. Remember that. Satan could never force you to do things. Lakshmi says, I am with God. And she's a nurse. And she serves with us. Satan, I think I'm over time, but we are going to eat anyways. So, Satan always puts one thing in our mind. Pride. Satan always tries to put ego. Satan always tries to put, I am better than somebody else. When you are humble with God, God is going to be one who exalts you. This is my friend. His name is Venu Madhav Reddy. And He is a big politician in his area. It takes about 5-6 hours from my house to go to his place. One time, last year, he called me and says, Ricky, pray for me. I am in a hospital. I thought, why are you in a hospital? He said, one person I knew, he took a knife and slit all here, and my intestines came out, and they tried to kill me. Pray for me. He was a devoted Hindu. When you stand firm, when you let your ego go, God is going to do great and mighty things. Satan always says you cannot do anything. Here are a lot of young leaders in our areas who could do mighty things. Satan, when he says no, you give it to God, and God is going to do great and mighty things. It's an honor. I know I went over time. It's an honor and a privilege to be called sons and daughters of the Most High God. And I would like for the congregation to pray for us. And guys, remember, I'm going to close. But remember, I am from the other side of the world. We in India are looking up to you to be faithful. We are looking up to you because you, America and Texas, are leaders of the world. So you act righteously. You pray. You stand firm in your faith. We, from the other side, looking for you. Stand firm. Don't go listening to the lies of Satan. Let us stand together and let us sing. If you need a prayer, why don't you come forward? If you want to put on Christ, why don't you come forward? If you want to tell anything to God, why don't you come forward? God is there. God is there when Satan lies to us. His grace always reaches us.